Be okay. You'll be okay. It proves you can go past what the body's demand is.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like big stair steps. Like really, really bad, and then, okay, stable, and then...
Yeah. Okay, so what we're doing with the breathing here is not how we would normally breathe during fighting. We're challenging the mind. We're trying to make it so that we can start separating from what the body's demands are, and then the directing mind that tells the body what it's going to do, and then it has to achieve that goal. In this particular case, we're doing knees on the pad. We're doing it in a measured control manner, not exceptionally explosive, not everything else, because we're looking for, on the other end, the person who's holding the pad is looking for fine motor control, reduction, things like that. So if we go with very big explosive movements, that's easy to disguise some of that. If we do it in a measured pace, we can understand and pick up those cues a little bit more. So that's part of that training is for the person holding the pads. The other part is that we hold the breath, we inhale, so we don't hyperventilate beforehand or anything like that. Hold the breath deeply. We try to go as long as we can. So we do the knees one side, we do the knees in a measured, controlled fashion, and we continue that. If you need to, you can exhale. Try to exhale in steps. Let some of it out, and then continue the knees, and then maybe let more out, and so forth. And so the process here is to work so that the body can work without oxygen for longer periods of time under duress, which means working in a controlled, methodical manner, trying to make our body do something in a particular form and fashion at a measured pace without being able to bring oxygen in. So we extend that process as long as we can. One of the things that we work toward, that you're going to come to a wall where, boom, you want to inhale. So if you do this process several times, all of a sudden you'll find the demand is less. You'll see the progress, it'll increase. And then you get to the point where you hit that wall. Allow yourself to process that wall. Allow yourself to process the body's demands for it wanting to inhale, and try to see it dispassionately and separately from the experience of it. Observe how your body is shaking. Observe how your body is trying to pull in the oxygen, and what they've had to do at different points is hold their nose and hold their mouth to physically force them to not inhale. So go through that process, hit that wall, try not to inhale, sit there, observe yourself separately from it, shake if you need to. Your body will shake and quake trying to bring that oxygen in, and that's the oxygen deprivation at that point. And then there's a calm afterwards. So get to that point, go past it, use your mind's ability to do this, and then you'll achieve another level of success that you haven't had before. That's what this is about. It's not about a method of breathing. It's about a method of extending your ability to work methodically with a certain amount of precision with increasing lack of oxygen. Okay, because the body's consuming that the entire time. And when we're doing it like this, we're using legs, large muscle groups to impact that. So there's going to be a lot of demand for blood, a lot of demand for oxygen to keep that working. And it's a good one to work. And again, you have spotters, so you don't have to worry about anybody falling. You're looking particularly at the indication of a person who is being purposely oxygen deprived, so you'll watch that, and you see these indicators. And it's good on the receiving end for people on the outside, any spotters that you might have, to watch how the body starts reacting to that. But it's really cool when you see them hit that wall, and you know what that wall is if you've experienced it before. And then you see the shaking, and you know where they're at, and then you can see that calm afterwards. And you may only be able to do one or two more knees after that calm, but you've broken past that wall. That's the key. Okay? So that's what it's about. It's about the mind's ability to control the body under duress, and not being able to breathe. One of the biggest duresses we're going to have. This is not the first time we've done this. What we're going to do is she's going to take one breath, hold it in. She has the option of exhaling, but she can't inhale. So she's got to see how long she can do that on one breath. Remember, you can exhale, you can't inhale. Oh, you inhaled. This time Ninja's working it. So the same thing, we did crawls down the stairs. We did a lot of things up to this point, so we're already fatigued. The interesting thing about this is looking at watching the person as their oxygen levels are going down to watch their stability. That's why we're doing this in a very controlled fashion so that we try to be just a technical flow. It's not working for superpower or anything because we're looking for the minute changes that occur when oxygen deprivation comes into play. So we can start recognizing that a little bit more. I thought I could do a little more.
Yep.
But the body wants to take it in. Darn body. So there.
I kind of experienced that too. I was like, I'm gonna let it out. And so I keep going, and then my body was like,
yeah, it wants to, man. And it's like really hard, especially after doing the other stuff. I think our body wants more. And that's third time. Seems to be getting better. You did it. She forced herself.
I'm trying to imagine I'm underwater too, like, and I know I'm gonna. Well, maybe this is mental too. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna want to try to take that breath in after I let it out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. One time I'll sit there and just try. When I'm ready to like force it in, I'll try to sit still and see if I can calm myself enough to go back into it. That might be a challenge, but we'll see. And they literally tried to make me laugh. Maybe not purposefully, but what they said, it was hard to do. You can do this. You can do this. Yeah, good though. Yeah, almost another. So what I'm gonna try and do is when I get to where I feel like where I can't do it anymore, I'm gonna try and just stop and try to control myself a little bit and try to go back into it. Try is key.
There is no try. There is only do.
I felt when I do like a 5 to 6 minute hold, you get to that point where you feel your body completely quake and shake. And if you can get past that, which I almost did here, it started to shake and whatnot. And then my brain went into, let's get this done. And I was like, whew. But if you can get past that internal body quake, you can go longer. And that's how I was able to get those long range ones when I'm doing the Wim Hof and stuff like that. So, but it definitely increases. So the more you do it. The structure. Focus.
What was that?
It was your body vomiting out all this weakness. I never made that sound. Whatever.
I got confused.
Just wanted to reiterate that I'm not hyperventilating or I'm not doing anything deep breathing in between. Literally just trying to calm regular breaths in between these sessions so that I don't have the buildup of the hyperventilated oxygenation through that process. So there's nothing like that. It's just normal breathing and then go into it, hold the breath and go. That's more of a challenge. If I were to do what I do during the Wim Hof breathing, I'd be able to do this a little longer. So that's why specifically I'm not doing that. Measured control. Don't rush through. My holding for the pad was pretty sucky. So there we go. Remember, whenever you feel like it. Yep. No, it's not to inhale. It's to
I don't know what happened.
You got this. Focus.
Bad seal.
Yeah. She will forcefully hold the breath. All right. Let your body just shake if it needs to. Yeah, but that's good. You stopped enough. Yeah.
Oh, it helped.
Yeah.
Short
Sure.
benefit.
Yep. But it's beyond what you had done, so that's good.
About 50.
About what?
About 50 seconds.
That was 50 seconds? Yeah, 50 seconds kicking something is different than sitting still. Of course, that one deep diver, I'm so impressed with her, man. She's like carrying rocks underwater, and she's like all in one breath, and she's like way down. And the pressure changes, different. But man, that's always impressive to look at. But yeah, so the more we can, well, I did it pretty good. I did what, 4?
At least.
Yeah, it's 4 and then part of 5. And it's just continually improving. So, and I didn't let the shakes go longer, which I should have done, because then I could have gone into a longer set. But yeah, I'm glad because it's just increasing it. But
Honestly.
yeah, but the point of the panic, you went beyond the point of I gotta breathe now, and you held it and then tried going again. So yeah, just hold it longer. Literally get to that point where you're just like till you get those shakes, so you understand what that is, because that's the most panicking part.
We keep going.
A few times where you're going to need to be still, and you can't move, and you can't also inhale. You see what I'm saying? You want to be able to, when you're underneath somebody and you physically can't move, which you've encountered before, and there's no oxygen coming in, you want to be able to control the panic in the still state, and then find the opportunities present in your sensory system at that point, from where the escape is and everything else, because you're not always going to be able to be moving. So you've got to get past that point where you got to make it work, and you can. I mean, you can. It'll happen. Let it happen. Let your body go through what it needs to. Force it. Force it.
Oh, I forgot to stop it.
Oh.
That was good. You got to a tension level that you haven't been to before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And you'll be able to get beyond that.
That was weird.
And you will. You'll be able to get beyond that. Well,
I was also filming like that. Sorry.
It's okay.
got a good shot of her feet, maybe.
I'm still filming.
Oh yeah, you're good. I was thinking if maybe you have to take your hand and then move it down there, but you don't, because you usually just use the thumb. So we both just did it for no reason.
No, but you did. You held it. That was cool. That was cool to watch. It's like you got to a point where it's like, okay, and then I'm going to get beyond that. But you held it longer. That's the cool part. Yeah. Yeah. Hold it. Let it shake. Go through the shakes. Go through the shakes. Yep. Go through it. You'll be okay. You'll be okay. That was great, though. That was great. That was excellent. It proves you can go past what the body's demand is.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like big stair steps. Like really, really bad, and then okay, stable, and then
yeah. Excellent. Yeah, even though the distance wasn't as long as you normally did, or the time that you did it, the fact that you didn't give in, that you were able to get beyond the panic point and control the body's demand, because again, you're not gonna. But we're here if you pass out. But I mean, even when I'm doing my 5 and 6 minute stuff, I'm not passing out. It's just get to a different state of mind. That's all. And here you held it. That was cool. That was cool to watch. Yeah. Because I know the struggle. I know that struggle, and it's like, get over that. And if you hold it longer, even, you'll get that. You'll achieve a calm. It'll come over, yeah. And yeah, because it's pretty cool when you get there. But that's good. This is required. This is required for high stress physical engagements, because you got to know what the brain, how the brain and the mind can control the body. So it's all the same, but you can separate the focus of it. So that, like I said, when I'm doing it, I started to really need to separate myself from the body. I basically just start off saying, I'm not here. This is not me. I'm moving through space. I'm allowing it to happen. And I completely get a separation from how all I kind of see myself above myself, say that I'm allowing this to happen. This is okay. I'm not experiencing that, but I'm directing it. And then as it gets to the point where it's focus, where the panic starts to come in, meaning that the body wants to inhale, then you're like pulled back into the body for a bit, then you stop and you have to let the body shake. You can again say, let it happen. This is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Then you get past that shake, and then you go on. And once you get past the shakes, it's something people get to that line but never pass. But you realize, well, once you do it, I mean, you're not dead. You reach a level of conditioning, and it's a mental conditioning. This is really extremely challenging for a lot of people. But again, every one of us have encountered being under like 2 people, well, one at least, 2 people, sometimes 3 people, 4 people having to fight and struggle underneath the weight, or somebody who's like 300 pounds and knows how to use their body on you. If you can't separate what the body's physically going through and then telling it, the brain, the mind, directing it, this is the opportunity, don't ignore the panic, look for opportunity. Know where the danger is. That's through the conditioning of the training itself, and then it's the mind's training later on under the maximum stress like this. This is gentle, even though what we're doing is not terrifying. What we're doing is putting ourselves consistently and repeatedly through a mental challenge. That's where we have to rise above what the body's demanding at that time. because that's the only way that we'll overcome and find other opportunities that we didn't find ever before because we never got to that point. So this time, if we get to that point and go over it, new opportunities rise.